Hey, World Entertainment, and Superman hasn't even hit our screens yet, and there's already somewhat of controversy around certain decisions and whatnot, especially Superman seemingly constantly losing the cool, which we're seeing a lot of. And that is a weird thing they've really highlighted in almost all of the campaign and marketing for this, is Superman being beaten and Superman pretty much losing the cool. That's just weird, and people are really kind of worried about the take that James Gunn is taking with Superman, being that he's this way. And of course, what's the next movie? Well, it is none other than Supergirl, which, yes, is now officially just called Supergirl. They've dropped the Woman of Tomorrow. This one already has the uphill battle, being the fact that it is the story directly taken from Tom King, and Tom King is heavily involved with it. But we are now being told by James Gunn himself that the character of Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, aka Kara Danvers, is actually a bit of a mess in the movie. Now, from what we've heard, when she shows up in Superman to get crypto, she's basically like a drunken uni girl, which makes no sense, being the fact that they can't really get drunk. But now James Gunn is pretty much confirming that, yeah, she's going to be kind of a bit of a mess of a character because of her upbringing. So we'll have a look at this. Now, in this article as well, he touches on, again, the talk of, is Chris Pratt joining the DCU? That's really a nothing burger. I will show you what he says about it, but it's a nothing burger. But let's have a look at this, because this is worrying, you know, for a character that is like Supergirl, that people realistically aren't all that hyped for on the big screen, to then turn around and say, oh, the character is actually going to be, she's going to be a bit of a mess, isn't going to endear people to wanting to see the character. But it says anyway, Superman is the first DC studio movie and is expected to introduce Millie Alcock's Supergirl before she takes flight in next summer's Supergirl. Making Supergirl the second DCU movie is an intriguing move on James Gunn's part, particularly as it keeps the action in the Man of Steel's corner of this world. Well, mostly. The Maiden of Flight's big screen return is expected to be a largely cosmic affair. So does that mean we'll visit the new version of Krypton? ComicBook.com caught up with Gunn and asked how much of Kara Zor-El's backstory on Krypton will be explored in her upcoming solo feature. And he said, flashbacks to Krypton are always a possibility, but I think those things are really integral to the two characters and the differences between them, and that Clark really does have a sort of this really happy childhood. I mean, he had parents who loved him in an easygoing upbringing, and it makes him the least dysfunctional of superheroes in so many ways. And Supergirl, especially the DCU Supergirl, she's kind of a mess. I mean, she's had real issues growing up, and it is based on the comic where she watched person after person after person dying in front of her as her piece of the planet disintegrated. Now, just going back to everything there, to particularly the start when he says flashbacks are always a possibility. What does he mean by that, seeing as Supergirl has wrapped filming, so it's done, so surely he knows whether or not there's flashbacks of Krypton in there. Same goes for Superman, because he does talk about the two of them and how those are possibilities for seeing the two characters. We know we're seeing Krypton, or at least we should be seeing Krypton in Superman, being that we will of course have Jor-El in there and Superman's mother and stuff. We don't quite know whether that's true flashbacks or whether it's just holograms in the Fortress of Solitude, or what way they're doing that, but I'm sure we'll see Krypton, or at least bits of it. Supergirl, probably the same thing. Really dislike the fact immediately out the gate, to me it spells doom for this movie, that they are saying, oh yeah, it's so, especially our Supergirl, it's completely based on the Tom King story. And it's not like they're taking elements from different comics to kind of round out this character. It is that they are full on embracing the Tom King story, which is, of course, The Woman of Tomorrow, which was a failure. Everyone hated that comic. They hate Tom King. Even people that work in comic book stores hate Tom King. Every time they see his books being brought in, they're like, oh God, no. He's a disaster. And the fact that he is basically James Gunn's right-hand man in the DCU spells disaster for the DCU. That includes Superman, because he does have a bit of a hand in the Superman story overall. The movie, that is. The fact that he's very heavily involved with Supergirl, and that the movie is completely based on his comic version. And for people who don't quite know what his version is, she's pretty much a down and out dysfunctional mess of a character who basically is going on a revenge tour with this other one. I can't even remember what that other character is called. What is it? It starts with a G, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. But they team up. And apparently that is what's happening in this movie as well. That they team up to go for revenge. And it's like, that's not who these characters really are. And the fact that you're basing your second movie in the DCU on this comic book spells disaster. So she shows up in Superman being like this drunken frat girl, as they say she's meant to be. That already is not going to endear people to the character. That is going to make people go, oh God, if she's like this in a cameo for this movie, is that what her character is going to be in Supergirl? And of course the answer would have to be yes. That is not good. And if Superman struggles at the box office, everyone's been saying this, and rightfully so, if Superman struggles at the box office, you sure as hell aren't going to have a winner with Supergirl. You can't go from your main character of Superman and think we'll make a winner with Supergirl. That's not going to happen. If Superman is very mixed reactions, if it divides people, and particularly if it struggles at that box office, Supergirl is done. It will absolutely 100% tank at the box office. And the fact that they are basing it completely on the Tom King version, yeah, that's not good news at all. So, in the same interview, of course, Gunn was asked about Chris Pratt joining the DCU. And this is what he said about this. As I said, the whole thing with Chris Pratt is, at this stage, a nothing burger, because from the moment James Gunn was announced as head of DC Studios, everyone was going, oh, when's Chris Pratt coming over? So he said this: listen, Chris Pratt's still one of my closest friends in the world, and I am always looking for something for him. But also, the others too. I mean, he and Poem are the ones that I see the most, and I'm the closest with Michael Rooker. So I'm always looking for stuff. So as you see, that's the same answer he gave a good long time ago now. I'm always looking for things to work with them with. Poem, obviously Mantis for people. I'm not even going to attempt to try and say her second name, but I always end up butchering it. And Michael Rooker, we know he brought him over into the Suicide Squad. He was in there until he got, was it blown up or cut in half? I think it was blown up. He has brought him back for Peacemaker Season 2. He's a completely different character, but he's back for that. So that's obviously where he could move him into something in the DCU, the big screen versions. Chris Pratt, Booster Gold was the name that was floated about for so long for him, but that doesn't look like it would happen. Who Poem could be, don't know. Could be anyone at this stage, but that's what he's talking about as of now anyway. So yeah, there's nothing there really, as I said before. But the Supergirl one, yeah, that's very concerning what he's saying. So we'll have to really keep an eye on this, and I would assume it'd probably in and around November, December, we'll probably get the first teaser for that movie. But again, I do find it interesting that he says it's a possibility that we'll see flashbacks, when it's like, well, how do you not know whether or not there is flashbacks? Like, Superman is completed. It's ready to go. It's about to drop in the next couple of weeks. Surely you know, if you put in flashbacks in your own movie and Supergirl has wrapped filming, you've seen the story. Surely you know that there is or isn't flashbacks. It's a weird statement, but it's also a very concerning statement regarding the whole, oh yeah, she's a bit of a mess and she is absolutely the version from the Tom King comic. Not good. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this idea of Supergirl being a mess and being the actual version of Tom King. Let me know what you think. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.